Merry Christmas and welcome to my second Christmas themed video game review of this holiday season. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Elf Bowling 1 and 2 for the Game Boy Advance. We'll pop this SOB into the Game Boy player and we'll be off to the races. So if you've never played Elf Bowling before, here's the skinny. In the late 90s or early 2000s, a company called N-Storm created a series of flash games called Elf Bowling. It became notorious over time as being a sort of cruel, kind of humorous game of bowling involving Santa Claus and Christmas elves. The smart-assed elves taunt you and make fun of you, and in return, you try to bowl them down. I remember playing this game a ton as a kid, and then I played the sequel a lot too. They're both pretty fun games in their original form. So years later, when they were re-released as a compilation for the Nintendo DS and Game Boy Advance, it intrigued me. Not enough to purchase them, but I was intrigued nonetheless. A year or two ago, I found the Game Boy Advance version for $4 at Goodwill, so I picked it up. This is the first time I've gotten around to playing it, so here we go. You get the choice to either play Elf Bowling 1 or Elf Bowling 2, which is kind of like Elf Shuffleboard. Let's play the original version first. So everything looks pretty familiar, albeit extremely pixelated, but for the system this game is on, I'm fairly impressed. The elves still do and say everything they did in the original release, and the game plays almost exactly how it did on the PC. Now it's nothing special, mind you, and it'll only keep you busy for about a couple minutes, but still, I'm pretty glad it's not as bad as many people made it out to be. The elves say a lot of funny things like, "Come on, roll the ball already." Or this. Sometimes they'll even drop trowel and spank their bare asses at you. Thankfully, you can bowl them down and then kill them all. Wah ha 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 ha! Sorry about that. It's also funny how a squeegee just comes down and scrapes the dead elf carcasses out of sight, leading you to believe that somewhere there's a pile of dead elf bodies rotting away. Another funny touch is that when the bowling pin machine malfunctions, it can rip an elf's head off. It's just funny because when you roll the ball, the elves throw their arms up and scream, but the elf with no head doesn't. Either because he can't see since he doesn't have a head, or quite simply because he's dead. It's one of those things that's not really funny until you think about the nuances of it. There are even a few Easter eggs in the game. During a round, a reindeer will show up and watch. If you bowl the ball into the gutter as hard as you can, the ball will pop out and hit it in the head, knocking it out. But considering the type of humor this game is known for, it probably actually kills it. At another point, a frog jumps across the lane. With perfect timing, you can actually squash it with your bowling ball. Wonder if any other frogs ever showed up to watch Santa bowl. Oh, hey Santa, it's me, Kermit. Oh shit! One time I got a rabbit to show up, but I didn't manage to hit it. What's up, Doc? You suck. Okay, that's all the look I'm gonna take at Elf Bowling 1. We've still got the sequel to look at. In this game, Santa plays his brother Dingle, who is a used ice salesman, in a game of shuffleboard. You launch the elves by, bear with me here, pulling their speedos back and snapping them into their asses so they get launched. The rules of the game are the same as real shuffleboard. I remember enjoying the PC original version of this game, but this version is just awful. The perspective seems off. It's like Mode 7's horrible cousin. The 3D perspective is sort of like one of those old NES games where it tries to simulate 3D, but it can't really pull it off. Also, you can no longer shoot the penguins on the iceberg like you used to be able to. But the elves are just as funny as ever. It's funny when you overshoot them and they land in the water and get eaten by sharks, or when you use your elf to knock another one off the boat. It's just funny little subtle things that make the game interesting. Unfortunately, Elf Bowling 2 is pretty much unplayable on the Game Boy Advance. It's phoned in and just overall not that enjoyable. That being said, Don't buy this game, just play the original versions. For the most part, what people say about this game is true, but I still think the port of the original Elf Bowling on this compilation is passable. Not great, but passable. The second game, it sucks. Merry Christmas and thanks for watching. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so guess what? I'll be posting yet another game review. Stay tuned and may your days be merry and bright.